everyone.
What's going on, guys? Unofficial MCU here. Hope y'all doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down episode 1 of Moon Knight. Of course, as always, spoiler alert, if you haven't already watched the first episode to Moon Knight over on Disney Plus, stop the video, go watch it, check it out. It's absolutely amazing. All good things to say about it, to be honest with you, and then head back on over here. So without further ado, we're going to hop right on into it. I'm going to have some of my own thoughts and opinions, a little bit of a breakdown here with a few Easter eggs and other things that you may or may have not missed throughout the overall show, and then some theories and speculations for future episodes of the overall series, as well as for more or less episode 2. As I kind of already had dibbled my toes a little bit into it, yes, this is an absolutely amazing looking upcoming Disney Plus Marvel show, and it's unmatched and unique, and it has a difference compared to these other Marvel shows. Probably the biggest 3 differences compared to other Marvel shows is, for one thing, you're using a quote-unquote what is called an A-list actor for the first time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When you think about it, really, you've probably never have actually seen any of the other Marvel actors in previous movies or shows or whatever the case may be. Of course, there's an exception for Chris Evans being in the Fantastic Four movie, but that movie was kind of called a flop overall, so it wasn't really paid that much of attention. So using the actor Oscar Isaac, who did an absolutely phenomenal, incredible job as in a performance here for Moon Knight overall. Cannot wait to see him throughout the rest of the series. I think it's safe to say that we've all pretty much have already heard of Oscar Isaac from the Star Wars franchise already. The second thing that makes this show overall really unique and different from other Disney Plus shows is the fact that this is the first time that Disney is using a completely new character and having them being introduced into the MCU through a Marvel show instead of a movie. The same thing is going to be applied to Ms. Marvel later on over in the summer. So kind of being introduced into that superhero origin through a show instead of a movie, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe has always done for the last 10 plus years with all of their superheroes, is definitely something new and unique. And the third thing overall is the fact of violence throughout the overall show. It definitely atones to having that, you know, the kind of overall Marvel Cinematic Universe humor throughout the overall show, like other Marvel movies and shows overall, but it also has a sense of violence going on throughout the overall show. Some goriness kind of going also throughout the overall show, which is definitely something that's kind of necessary at that, especially with the future of the MCU and where they're taking it, where they're going, especially with some of those horror themes as well that we also actually saw throughout the Moon Knight episode 1 here, is something that's also going to be applied to the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, more specifically in the Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, is being described to have many of those type of horror type of themes and aspects to it. Violent themes also is just something that has always been a part of the comic nature, the pop culture nature as well. So I would hope and I would take it that they would continue to kind of do that to kind of make it more realistic and really pull you into that world of the pop culture and within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Some of those violent kind of tones and themes don't only apply to this show, but more or less what I'm thinking of specifically is for Deadpool and when they introduce him to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This here could be anywhere now at this point in time. They're starting to really set it up, and they've kind of made it official at this point in time that he will definitely show up at some point in time. A lot of people are pointing to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's something I'm probably going to talk about in a separate video later on. The overall mystery kind of aspect here that's going on with the overall show is something that reminds me a lot about WandaVision. Like, we're kind of playing along with the characters and kind of viewing the overall show from the point of view of the character. It's definitely something that helps you keep you interested into the overall show and keeps you at the edge of your seat for sure, so that there was something that was a very nice aspect added to this overall show. Also, the kind of overall contrast here that we have going on with Stephen Grant and Khonshu, who is the Moon Knight overall, I guess, spirit or god, if you will. It definitely reminds me a whole lot of Hulk and Bruce Banner, and a lot about Eddie Brock and Venom. And to kind of go off of on top of the topic of having these different personalities is something that we did know about and something that we were expecting for this overall show. Another one that is also mentioned throughout the overall show is Mark Spector, is something that we were talking about and hearing about towards the end of the episode. So it's definitely already starting to set up for what we're going to expect and to see here for the second episode. Even then, on top of all of these different kind of personas or alternate of characters and personalities for this overall character, Stephen Grant is another one. That's not his main like persona. That's not who he really actually is, although they're kind of tricking us into thinking that he is. A little bit more about Khonshu. Khonshu is an ancient Egyptian god of the moon and night travelers. In the comics, he was one of the who saved Mark Spector from dying and gave him his powers. Moon Knight is an avatar of Khonshu and also known as the first Khonshu. Moon Knight's strength, endurance, and reflexes are enhanced as well. So in a sense, it's almost like he's possessed, but then again, kind of relaying back off of what I said about Venom and Hulk and those kind of connections, is that they're almost like sharing a body. Arthur Harrow also seems to be be a bad guy, if for anything, throughout this overall series to an extent. Although it's not completely clear on who the main protagonist is for this overall show. Another big thing that we saw towards the end of the episode was the missed calls coming from Layla, and we have absolutely no idea who this is, or how she's connected, and who exactly she is, or how she has any type of connection to Mark Spector. Really just don't know who she is, because we never really have heard of this kind of character appearing from the comics. There is no complete confirmation or affirmative that this is the same character that we're seeing from the comics, although there is another character named Layla from the Moon Knight comics. Also, upon all of those messages coming from Layla and those missed calls coming from Layla, it's an interesting point. The only other name that we saw in there was one called Duchamp's name. This is also important in connecting to the comics. Jean-Paul's Duchamp, typically referred to as Franchise, is a pilot and a sidekick to Moon Knight. However, we still don't know which actor will be playing him, or even if he'll be showing up in the overall show, or if that's something that they're going to save for future on in the MCU, whether that's a Moon Knight movie or a Moon Knight second season. I'm going to go more in depth into all of these kind of missed calls and these messages coming from these characters, and going more in depth into these overall characters, why they're important, what kind of significance they play into the overall upcoming here for the future episodes of the show in a separate video, because there's just so much to talk about with them. Overall, this year is an absolutely amazing premiere here for the Moon Knight series. I just cannot wait to see more from this overall show. I'm honestly absolutely hooked. Of course, I want to know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I'd absolutely love to hear what you guys all thought here about episode 1 of Moon Knight. Some of the things that you might have noticed here throughout the overall show, some references and some setups here for future episodes, and maybe even potentially future seasons for the overall show. Something I'd absolutely love to hear all in the comment sections down below. Drop a like in the video if you enjoy it, as it really does help with the channel, and check out our Instagram and unofficial MCU for more Marvel related content, guys. Thanks so much for watching today's video. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day or night. Peace out.